So before we go deeper into the features and benefits of NPS, it is important to understand the NPS today is not just a single product, but a comprehensive retirement ecosystem designed for different category of subscribers. Let us look at why NPS has become one of the preferred retirement planning solution. The answer lies in a combination of features that make it unique compared to traditional retirement products. Let's look at two types of accounts available under NPS. While both are investment accounts, they serve very different purpose. Tier 1 is primary retirement account and forms the foundation of NPS.
And also in the new exit and withdrawal regulations, the lump sum and annuity purchase can be deferred till the age of 85 so that the corpus can keep growing till for much longer periods. But last 5 years, it has grown at about 23%, whereas the corporate AUM, basically the AUM coming from corporate employees, has grown at about 25%.
Good evening, everyone. Before we start today's discussion, please make a note of upcoming FOF dates. The next month is 25th August, followed by 25th September and 22nd October. So today we want to talk about something that often gets overlooked in our day-to-day financial life, and yet it can make a meaningful difference for our future, and that is retirement planning. Let's start with a simple question. How many of us actively think about how we are going to fund the life once we stop working? Maybe a quick raise of hands. That's a pretty low number. So if you look at Pan India, only 12% of workforce have any sort of pension or retirement corpus available for them for their post-retirement life. Most of us are busy today, managing today's expenses, today's goals, and responsibilities. Retirement looks like a distant, far fetched thing. But in reality, the choices that we make today, especially in our working years, will shape the financial freedom we are going to have. National Pension System or NPS is one of the simplest and tax efficient retirement tool by PFRDA who regulates NPS. Uh, it's a completely regulated retirement scheme. NPS is very straightforward in the sense you make a small regular contributions over the years and you invest to make the corpus grow substantially towards your retirement planning. Let us spend some time understanding NPS. So retirement is no longer a short, predictable phase of life. It's a 20-25 year long journey post retirement that one must needs to fund entirely on its own. First, we are living longer. The life expectancy is rising gradually. People live up to 80, 85 years or even beyond. So we need to plan for decades and not just for years. Second is inflation. It's growing at 7% per annum. It's a silent killer. The important component of healthcare and medical bills are rising in double digits. A simple lifestyle of, let's say, 50,000 rupees per month today could balloon up to rupees 2 lakh a month in next 20 years. So we need to plan for a future where our savings needs to last for decades and not just few years. EPF alone is not sufficient to fund post-retirement corpus. Basically, there is a risk of outliving our savings. Uh, we need to make a early disciplined investments to ensure we have a adequate corpus at the time of retirement. The total AUM today under NPS is 17.25 lakh crore as of June 2026. That includes corporate employees, government employees, and self contribution as well. So this slide highlights the expected demographic change we can expect in India's population by 2050. So the population of 2023 is plotted in a different age bracket. If you look at the left-hand side chart, uh, India looks young today. The pyramid is wide at the base, where you have few dependents and more young people in the age group of 20 to 40 years. Whereas if you look on the right-hand side chart, uh, the demographics looks very different, and so the retirement reality. By 2050, the middle of the pyramid bulges out. The same cohort is now 40 to 7, not 40, 50 to 75 years of age bracket. So basically, you have more uh, dependent people and less young people who can support them. Plus, they will be retiring in a world with fewer support system, higher healthcare, and rising life expectancy. Lastly, if you look at the 85 plus age bar, uh, it is significantly higher than what we have in 2023. Yeah. So, what is NPS? Uh, it's a voluntary retirement saving tool initiated by Government of India and currently regulated by PFRDA. PFRDA is responsible for drafting the guidelines and investment norms. NPS helps individuals accumulate retirement corpus through investment in market-linked instruments, which are low cost expense ratio and tax efficient. If you see the journey of NPS, it was started in 2004, initially for central government employees. Uh, Later, most of the states have gradually adopted NPS for their state government employees. In 2009, it was extended to all citizens of India on a self contribution basis, which got extended to corporate employees as well in 2011. Adult Pension Yojana was launched in 2015 for low income, unorganized sector employees. The recent introductions are to NPS Vatsalya, which is basically where you contribute for minors below the age of 18, and multiple scheme framework, which we will see in coming slides. So, who can contribute in NPS? Any Indian between the age of 18 to 85, uh, he can contribute minimum 1000 rupees per year and incrementally in a denomination of 500 rupees multiple. So, let's look at the architecture of NPS. So NPS is an unbundled architecture. So no single intermediary holds all the function. PFRDA sits at the top as the regulator, responsible for drafting the guidelines and investment norms. Uh, NPS Trust holds all the assets that belongs to pension funds. Uh, they ensure that the money legally belongs to the subscribers and not to any single intermediary. The subscriber, which is the investors, are at the forefront. So they start their investing journey by enrolling either directly through ENPS or through POP, which are nothing but distributors. So a bank, a broker, or a fintech could be a POP. It's called point of presence. CRA is the operational backbone of NPS ecosystem. So they are responsible in opening subscriber accounts, maintaining the accounts, sending the transaction, holding statements, and so on. If you see the red arrows, that is basically the money flow in the NPS ecosystem. It is deliberately kept separated from CRA, the operational backbone. The money flows from subscriber to POP to trustee banks, from which the pension funds will start deploying the money in different instruments. And at the time of retirement, the annuity service providers will take out the mandatory pension amount, and it will be paid to the subscribers on monthly basis for lifelong. This separation of duties is NPS core strength. So basically, the functions are split across independent regulated entities, which minimizes the risk of single point of failure, and it avoids conflict of interest. So as we saw, CRAs maintain all subscriber records, account balances, transaction processing, and also helps in withdrawals. They are at the heart of NPS ecosystem. So currently there are three CRAs. Protein is the oldest among the three. It started functioning as CRA in 2008, followed by K Fintech. It's operating as a CRA since 2017, and the recent entrant is CAMS. So subscriber can log into their website or mobile app to check their statements, what are the current balances, and so on. So before we go deeper into the features and benefits of NPS, it is important to understand the NPS today is not just a single product, but a comprehensive retirement ecosystem designed for different category of subscribers. Starting with government sector NPS, which was introduced in 2004. Uh, Initially, the central governments were part of it, followed by state governments. This was extended to all citizen models. Basically, all the individuals outside the government and corporate framework were enrolled into the NPS, followed by corporate sector employees. Uh, NPS Vatsalya introduced just last year, and it has picked up momentum. We'll cover individually in the different slides, and so on the multiple scheme framework. So let's see how NPS works. So basically, there are three phases. The first is accumulation phase, where the subscriber contributes towards NPS on a monthly basis. Subscriber can contribute either on a self contribution basis or as a part of his employment. He can contribute up to certain percentage of his basic salary. This corpus keeps growing, compounding based on the market linked returns, and he can withdraw this money at the time of retirement. Also, he can defer this withdrawal till the age of 85. So he has an option to withdraw either at 60, or he can wait, and anytime before the age of 85, he can choose to withdraw. At the time of withdrawal, uh, he can take out 80% of the money as lump sum, out of which 60% is tax free. The balance 20% is taxable under the slab rates. The last 20%, between 80 to 100, it is contributed to an annuity wherein he will get monthly pension uh, for the lifelong portion. Let us look at why NPS has become one of the preferred retirement planning solution. The answer lies in a combination of features that make it unique compared to traditional retirement products. So first, NPS is among the lowest cost investment products today. Since the fund management charges are extremely low, it significantly enhances your retirement corpus over the life cycle. So a pension fund can charge maximum up to 12 bips for the first 25,000 AUM corpus, beyond which the expense ratio keeps falling. So it's a slab rate mechanism. Once you cross 25,000, the 12 bips comes down to 8%, 8 bips to 6 bips and 4 bips based on the slab rates. Second important feature is NPS is completely portable. So once you enroll, you get a unique account number which is called as PRAN, permanent retirement account number. So you get that number lifelong, even though you change employers multiple times or cities in your career, that PRAN number remains same. Uh, an important feature of NPS is triple tax benefit, wherein you get tax exemption at the time of contribution. When the corpus grows on accrual basis, there is no taxation, and there is a partial tax exemption at the time of withdrawal. NPS, unlike all other retirement products, gives you a lot of flexibilities wherein you can change your pension fund manager. In case if you are disappointed with the returns and expectation, you can always change the pension fund manager who is managing the corpus. Uh, you can also change the asset class between equity, corporate debt, and government securities. And you can tinker around the asset allocation. The main advantage is there is no taxation when you change the asset class from equity to debt or vice versa. So the pension funds are required to publish daily NAVs and also need to disclose monthly portfolios. So a subscriber can easily track his corpus on a daily basis, and he can see what is the monthly performance and portfolio disclosure on the website. As we have seen, NPS is a regulated entity. PFRDA regulates as a statutory body. The subscriber funds are held in the name of NPS Trust. If you look at the historical returns, uh, equity has given somewhere between 10 to 13% CAGR since inception, depending on different pension fund managers, which has been historically higher than the comparable retirement tools like EPF or PPF. Lastly, it gives you a subscriber an online access wherein he can uh, access his corpus. He can make any changes on a web portal or a mobile app. So he need not do any paperwork and need not visit any agencies or government offices. Let's look at two types of accounts available under NPS. While both are investment accounts, they serve very different purpose. Tier 1 is primary retirement account and forms the foundation of NPS. It is specially designed for long-term retirement planning. So all the tax benefits that a subscriber gets is under tier 1 scheme of NPS. Uh, the restrictions on the withdrawals are also on tier 1. So basically, this is the account which you manage for your retirement planning. Uh, Tier 2 is an optional flexible savings account. However, Tier 2 account can only be opened once you have a running Tier 1 account. There are no tax benefits as such in Tier 2, and you have all the flexibilities to withdraw the money. You can come in, come out anytime. The benefit you get is low expense ratio, which is similar to Tier 1. The minimum contribution is rupees 1000 a year and in multiples of 500. And there is no upper limit on maximum contribution. So other retirement products have some limit, which we will cover in the coming slides. So NPS contributions give you tax benefits under both old tax regime as well as new tax regime. Let's first look at old tax regime. If you are a corporate employee, you can invest up to 10% of your basic plus DA salary into NPS, which is completely tax free. In case of other individuals, they can self contribute with a ceiling of rupees 1,50,000 under 80 CCD. So generally, these limits do get easily exhaust because of your 80C investments. However, there is a separate dedicated deduction of rupees 50,000 under section 80 CCD 1B, wherein even if you have exhausted 1,50,000 limit, you can contribute rupees 50,000 towards NPS and claim tax benefit. So this is under old tax regime. In case of new tax regime, it has been simplified wherein only a corporate employee will get a benefit up to 14% of basic plus DA. So they have increased the limit from 10% to now 14%. There is no tax reduction on self contributions. An important thing to note is an employee who is contributing, let's say, to NPS, Employee Provident Fund or superannuation, the combined limit is rupees 7,50,000 for a financial year. In case he crosses that, he won't get deduction beyond this limit. Yeah. So let us look at the investment choices available within NPS. Broadly, NPS provides subscribers with two investment framework. One is the traditional common scheme structure, and the one is the newly introduced multiple scheme framework. The common scheme is a traditional approach under NPS where a subscriber can choose what kind of asset allocation he wants, what kind of asset class he wants to invest in. The maximum allowed is 75% under equities, whereas under MSF, which is a recently launched product, uh, he can go as high as up to 100%. The main difference is in common scheme, he chooses the asset allocation, how much he wants to invest in a particular asset class. Whereas under MSF, it's more like a hybrid structure where the pension fund manager will draft the scheme and based on his investment style, be it conservative or aggressive, he can decide on the allocation between equities and debt. So the broader objective of this change by bringing MSF is to make NPS more flexible and attractive while continuing the core principles of long-term retirement investing. Yeah. So there are three asset classes under common scheme which a subscriber can choose from. Uh, ECG, so basically E stands for equities. The pension fund manager can invest in top 250 stocks by market cap. So these are as per the guidelines of PFRDA. 90% of the equity portfolio AUM should be in top 200 stocks with the flexibility to invest maximum 10% in remaining next 50 stocks. Uh, it also includes units of REITs, gold, silver ETFs, and equity oriented AIFs. However, the combined AUM cannot exceed 5% for these three categories. When it comes to asset class C, it stands for corporate debt instruments, wherein the pension fund can invest in listed debt securities issued by body corporates, commercial banks, and public financial institutions. G stands for government securities, wherein the instruments could be treasury bills, government securities, or state development loans. There is a flexibility to invest maximum up to 10% in short term instrument in all these three asset class schemes individually. You can't go beyond 10% in short-term debt instruments, basically bank FD less than 1 year or money market instruments. So there are two choices with subscriber when he decides his contributions in NPS. Either he can choose himself, wherein he can invest up to 75% his contributions in equities. He can choose between corporate debt and government securities. Individually, he can allocate full amount towards this asset classes, or he can choose a combination of all three asset classes. So this is called active choices, where the subscriber is actively choosing where he wants to invest his money in different asset classes. In case he don't want to choose actively, he can select one of the four auto choices options available. So these are basically life cycle fund, wherein the equity component keeps falling as you age. We'll look at individually in the coming slide. So the first life cycle fund is, it's called as high equity life cycle fund, wherein the equity component is up to 75% of the contribution up to the age of 35, and remaining 25% is split between corporate and government securities. As you age beyond age of 35 years, the equity component keeps reducing by 4% every year, and till you reach the age of 55 years, it stays at 15%. Uh, Corporate debt is at 10% and government securities at 75%. So that's the portfolio which remains static beyond the age of 55. If you look at moderate life cycle fund, you start with 50% equity component and it reduces by 2% each year till you reach 10% at the age of 55. The third is a conservative low equity exposure fund, where your equity is at 25% at the start of your corpus till the age of 35, and it reduces 1% each year till the age of 55, wherein it becomes static at 5%. The recent one which has been introduced is a aggressive life cycle fund, wherein the equity component is 50% till the age of 45, and it reduces initially 2%, followed by 1% beyond the age of 50. However, at 55 or beyond, the equity component is still slightly elevated at 35%. Hence the name aggressive. So NPS was introduced in 2004 as a reform of government pension framework. Initially, NPS was made mandatory for central government. Uh, Under the government NPS model, both employee and government contribute regularly towards employees' retirement account. The accumulated corpus is managed through framework developed by PFRDA. So the investment approach in case of government model is slightly conservative, where you get lower equity exposure compared to other NPS categories. So in this case, the employee contributes 10% of his basic salary, and government contributes 14% of basic salary. Initially, all the government corpus was going to three PSU-based pension funds: SBI, UTI, and LIC. However, around 2019, 2020, they got a flexibility to choose any of the pension fund in the private space as well. Another difference is at the time of exit, they get 60% of the corpus as lump sum, which is tax-free, whereas the annuity portion is slightly elevated at 40%. So in case of other NPS categories, the 40% has come down to 20%. In case of government sector NPS, that has remained same. UPS, which is Unified Pension Scheme, is a recent introduction, which is optional for government employees, wherein if they want to get a fixed nature of pension, which is not linked to market instruments, so they can select either of the choices, NPS versus UPS. Yeah. So we discussed the traditional NPS structure and the flexibility available. Another important development in the NPS ecosystem is the introduction of MSF. The core objective here is to make NPS more flexible and aligned with the evolving needs of subscriber. Uh, Here, the pension fund manager can offer multiple schemes under the same NPS account, each having different asset allocation strategy and risk profile. So, a pension fund can have multiple MSF schemes wherein he can choose to go conservative on equities or aggressive, and the subscriber can choose one of the two schemes, or even he can choose multiple schemes. Uh, a key differentiator of MSF versus your traditional common schemes is the equity exposure can go as high as 100%. The rest of the investment guidelines remain same. You can invest in top 250 stocks and 90 and 10 split between top 200 and next 50. Another key feature of MSF is there is a lock-in of 15 years of vesting period. So during this period, you can't change your pension fund manager for MSF schemes. However, the subscriber can move to common schemes from MSF. The charges here are slightly elevated. So it's a composite charges. It includes your POP slash distribution charges as well. So maximum pension fund manager can charge under MSF is 30 bips of AUM. So this is basically a summary of a slide we already saw. It just compares your traditional common schemes versus the recently introduced MSF schemes. Key differentiator is, of course, maximum equity exposure under both the schemes. You have a single strategy under common scheme, whereas you can choose between conservative or aggressive strategies as a combination. There are no switch out restrictions on common scheme, whereas under MSF, you can change another MSF of a pension fund only after 15 years of vesting period. Here you pay a total expense ratio of 12 bips when the AUM is of up to 25,000 and it goes down gradually, whereas here it remains static at 30 bips irrespective of the AUM. Yeah. The latest addition to the NPS ecosystem is NPS Vatsalya. It is designed to encourage parents to start building a long-term financial corpus for their children, basically to give them an early start. Under this framework, parents or guardians can open an NPS account for a minor below the age of 18 years. Once the child turns 18, the account provides a transition pathway up to the age of 21, and subscriber can choose to continue. So after the age of 21, the NPS Vatsalya gets converted into a regular NPS, or he can choose to withdraw the money. The contributions are very minimal, so rupees 250 a year that needs to be contributed, and in the multiples of 250 rupees. You can make a partial withdrawal up to 25%. So we'll see these partial withdrawals and other rules in coming slides. When it comes to tax benefits, so under the old regime, you can claim up to rupees 50,000 of contribution under Section 80 CCD. There is no tax benefit under new tax regime. So we'll just make a quick comparison of NPS Vatsalya versus Sukanya Samriddhi scheme. So both are basically solutions for minor children. The key difference is Sukanya Samriddhi is only for a girl child. NPS Vatsalya in that sense is gender neutral. Any minor can open NPS Vatsalya before the age of 18, whereas Sukanya Samriddhi you can open below the age of 10, maximum 2 girls per family. There is no upper limit on the contributions that you can make to NPS Vatsalya, whereas in case of Sukanya Samriddhi, there is a cap of rupees 1.5 lakh per year. In terms of returns, again, NPS Vatsalya is a hybrid scheme where you have a mix of equity and debt. In case of Sukanya Samriddhi, the returns are periodically announced by government. So currently it is at 8.2%. Yeah. Sukanya Samriddhi, you get a lock-in of 21 years. So even if you, let's say, start at the age of 7, there is a locking period of 21 years. Whereas in case of NPS Vatsalya, irrespective of the age that you start, you get an option to withdraw the money at the age of 18. In terms of withdrawal, so both allow partial withdrawal. So you can withdraw up to 25% of your contribution after completing 3 years in case of NPS Vatsalya. Whereas in case of Sukanya Samriddhi, up to 50% of balance can be withdrawn for higher education. Yeah. So in case of NPS Vatsalya, you have a dedicated 50,000 rupees under Section 80 CCD tax benefit. In case of Sukanya Samriddhi, it's a holistic limit of 1.5 lakh under Section 80C. However, both are in that sense triple E tax benefit. In case of NPS Vatsalya, there is a partial tax exemption at the time of withdrawal. Yeah. So there are currently 10 PFRDA regulated pension fund managers. And unlike most retirement products, you are not locked to one. You can switch your fund manager if the performance disappoints, which keeps the managers competitive and accountable. So when NPS was introduced in 2004, SBI, LIC and UTI were the first entrants. followed by HDFC and ICICI around 2011 and 12. And today we have total 10 pension funds running. PPFAS is applied for approval with PFRDA to set up pension funds along with 3 other entities, Motilal Oswal, Bank of Baroda, and Bajaj. In terms of flexibility, the subscriber can change the pension fund manager once every year. And in terms of asset allocation, he can change that 4 times a year. Also, he can choose between active and auto and can change that 4 times a year. And the whole process is online. He did not do any paperwork or visit any government agencies for that matter. We'll invite Prithvinath to take us forward for the upcoming slides.
So Abhishek has shown us how money can enter into the NPS system, the benefits of the NPS system, and how the money grows during the NPS life cycles. Now I'll talk about how you can withdraw money from the NPS system. So in this regard, PFRDA has changed the exit and withdrawal rules in December of 2025 and has now made it much more friendly to the subscribers. Earlier, the withdrawal was only at the age of 60, but now for a all-citizen model subscriber, he can exit the NPS system after 15 years in the system. For the normal exit, which is the regular exit, for corporates, they still have to continue till the age of 60. And based on the size of the corpus that they have accumulated, the rules for withdrawal change slightly. So first is if the corpus is less than 8 lakh rupees, then 100% of the lump sum can be withdrawn with no annuity requirement. If the corpus is so here the subscriber has an option to either take the full amount, or he can optionally choose an annuity, or he can take one of the withdrawal plans, which we will see in the upcoming slides. Next, if the corpus is between 8 to 12 lakh rupees, then up to 6 lakhs can be immediately withdrawn as a lump sum, and the balance is paid out via one of the withdrawal schemes, which we will see later, over a minimum of 6 years. Or he also has an option to optionally purchase the annuity. If the corpus is more than 12 lakhs, which would be the general case, 80% of the lump sum can be withdrawn. 80% of the corpus can be withdrawn as a lump sum, which was earlier 60%. And the remaining 20% has to be used to buy an annuity, which will act as a pension income for life. Also, in the new exit and withdrawal regulations, the lump sum and annuity purchase can be deferred till the age of 85, so that the corpus can keep growing till for much longer periods. So currently, the tax regulations allow only 60% of the corpus to be tax-free. So the difference between the 80% and 60% will be taxed at slab rates. But a subscriber can use one of the withdrawal options and spread that withdrawal over multiple years to decrease the amount of tax he pays. For the government sector, it still continues to be 60% lump sum and 40% annuity. Next, we'll see what if there's an early requirement or early access required for the funds that are in the NPS system. So first, there's a partial withdrawal that is allowed after 3 years, which can be up to 25% of the own contribution money. This can be done up to 4 times till the age of 60. And this is allowed in only specific conditions like requirement for education, illness, disability, or to purchase a first home. These withdrawals are 100% tax-free, but of course, the withdrawal is coming from your principal only. And the rest of the corpus can continue to grow and compound. Next, there are rules for premature exit, that is completely exiting the NPS system before reaching that 15 years or the age of 60. So currently, now under the new rules, there's no lock-in for exit. Exit can be done anytime. And if the corpus is less than 5 lakh rupees, 100% of the withdrawal can be done as a lump sum. Optionally, they can choose a withdrawal plan also. But if the amount is more than 5 lakhs, then only 20% of the money is given as lump sum, and the rest 80% has to be taken as an annuity. So this is a big penalty if in case somebody wants a premature exit. In the unfortunate death of the subscriber, the complete money, the complete corpus that has been accumulated can be withdrawn by the nominee as a tax-free lump sum. This applies to any age or any corpus size, and there are no restrictions on that. Optionally, the nominee can either choose one of the withdrawal plans, or he can choose the annuity option also. So I've been talking about the systematic withdrawal plans. We'll look at that in the next slide. Is invested and still continues to earn the market-linked returns. Uh, yeah, so this can be chosen at time of normal exit, or even for deferring the exit also, a person can choose a systematic payout plan. Anytime till the age of 85. At the age of 85, it becomes a mandatory exit. Also, there's an option to stop or change this anytime. Whenever required, you can stop your systematic withdrawal plan and take the remaining lump sum as per your requirement. There are two ways in which you can do the systematic withdrawal. One is the SLW, systematic lump sum withdrawal, where the amount of money you can decide at the start of the plan. Say 50,000 rupees per month you want. You can decide on that at the start of the plan, and you'll continue to get that from the units released. Here, the income becomes predictable, but how long the corpus lasts is not known. Basically, it depends on the returns that the corpus is generating. The other option is the systematic unit redemption plan, where you get fixed amount of units redeemed every year. Every month. So the amount you get will depend on the NAV on the withdrawal date. So you can decide a set number of units to be redeemed at each period. So the rupee payout moves with the NAV, but that and the income varies. But you will know that the corpus will last till the period you choose to close. So these are the two options that are available. So why this matters? Systematic plans what matter is that you can stay invested through retirement, and even after retirement, you can stay invested in the LPS system. It can smooth out market timings and bridge the gap before buying an annuity. So this also helps in managing the longevity risk, especially the SUR plan. Next, we'll look at something called retirement income scheme. So this was just announced in the month of May. So basically, this is like what happens with the money after life cycle fund for the money that is left after for retirement. So the money you have left for retirement, you can put that money into a scheme called RIS study, retirement income scheme study, where the corpus stays invested. Here in this scheme, the equity glides from 35% at 60 at the age of 60 to 10% at the age of 75. And it can be held till the age of 85 years. So basically, the balance is being covered by government security allocation raising. So this is how the money is managed in this scheme. And then you can choose the payouts, either monthly, quarterly, or annual, up to the age of 85. And this is available for both government and non-government subscribers. But this is available only for the non-annuity component of the final corpus. So basically, the annuity requirement doesn't go away, which is 20% or 40%, depending on government or corporate employee. But the other 80% or 60% you can use to put in the RIS study plan. So the drawdown options from this RIS study scheme are basically two options are there. One is the systematic payout rate. So basically, every year you get a certain withdrawal rate. So based on the amount of years you want the money to be in the NPS system. Say, for example, the subscriber is 60 years and wants the money to be in the system till the age of 85, that is 25 years. Then first year he can withdraw 1 by 25, that is 4% of the corpus. It changes every year based on the birth date of the subscriber. Say, for example, at the age of 75, so he has 10 more years in the system. So 1 by 10 is 10%. So in the 75th year, he'll get 10% withdrawal rate on the corpus that is available in the system. The other option is the systematic unit redemption, which is similar to what I explained earlier. So the initial units are divided by the time period, and you'll get that fixed number of units paid out every month. And the payout amount actually varies with the NAV fluctuations. And here also the flexibility options of changing the fund manager and all are continue to be there. This was announced by PFRDA, but is yet to be operationalized. So PFRDA is making the systems ready and will soon announce a launch date. Now we'll talk about the final 20% with which the subscriber has to buy an annuity. So currently, about 15 life insurance companies are empaneled with PFRDA, and they provide the annuity options to the subscribers. The subscriber is free to choose the annuity service provider from any of these 15 life insurance companies. So you have all the big life insurance companies like LIC, SBI Life, HDFC Life, ICICI Life, etc. And there are 5 annuity plan variants that the subscriber can choose based on his requirement and his retirement need assessments. So basically, we have the annuity plan variants like life annuity, which is payable to death, or joint life, which is payable to death of the subscriber and also the spouse if surviving they will also get the annuity payment. For the same two plans, we also have this return of purchase price option, where on the death of the subscriber or on the death of the spouse of the subscriber, eventual death, uh, the purchase price is also returned to the legal nominee of the subscriber. And there is also an NPS family income. So this includes the subscriber's spouse, and after that, if the parents of the subscriber are alive, then they will also continue to get the annuity payments. Just on the annuity options, so annuity options uh, vary a lot depending on the plan variant that is chosen, the age of the subscriber or spouse if it is a joint annuity plan, and the interest rate environment. So the CRA websites, this I took from Protean CRA. They have this tool where you can put in your corpus amount that is available, your age, your details, etc., and it will give you a how much annuity you can expect from each of these service providers. I selected just two to show it as an example, but you can select all 15 service providers and see their rates also. Yeah, so as I said, annuity rates change depending on the plan variant. So to highlight this example, for example, we'll take this top row. HDFC Life Insurance annuity for life is 6.96% with return of purchase price. But if you don't want a return of purchase price, it could go as high as 8.61%. So based on the subscriber's needs, he can change one of the plans that fits its needs. Next, it could change based on the age of the subscriber. So first one, in the first table, it is 60 years of age. In the next table, it is 65 years of age. The stark difference we can see in the case of without return of purchase price annuity for life. It's at 8.61% for 60-year-old, and this jumps to 9.36% for a 65-year-old. Also, the prevailing interest rates on where the interest rate movement, interest rate cycle, where we are in the interest rate cycle, the life insurance companies price these annuity plans. So those also affect the annuity payments. And last one is the frequency. You have an option of chasing monthly, quarterly, or half yearly or annual. So that also slightly affects your annuity rates. Next, we'll come to the charges that are there under the NPS system. So as Abhishek highlighted, the POPs are the distributors, point of presence players are the distributors, where the charges are 0.2% of the AUM with minimum of 30 rupees. But if you are a retail customer, you have an option to go directly to the CRA website, and it's called eNPS, where you do not have to pay the POP charges. Also for government employees, there's no POP charges. And also for CPSE employees, that is Central Public Sector Enterprises, for them the POP charges are 0.1%. Next is the pension fund management charges. They are called investment management fees. So we took the non-government sector here. So it varies from 12 basis points to 4 basis points, depending on the AUM managed by the pension fund manager, from 25,000 crores to 1,50,000 crores. For the government sector schemes, it is slightly lower. It varies between 9 basis points to 3 basis points. For MSFs, the POP charges and the PFM charges, the MF charges are not separate. They are charged combinedly by the pension fund manager only, and this is restricted at about 30 basis points. So in the worst case, you will be paying about 32 basis points under common schemes, and under MSF scheme, it is limited to 30 basis points only. Yeah, and the POP and the pension fund manager will have to enter into their own commercials to share this 30 basis points among themselves. Coming to the CRA charges, there are minor account opening charges, about 18 rupees for digital account and 40 rupees if you want a physical cash. But they also charge an AMC, which is depending on the subscriber's corpus size. It varies between 100 rupees for less than 2 lakhs to 500 rupees for more than 50 lakh corpus size. There are a few other minuscule charges like NPS trust fee and custodian fee. But overall, if you add up all the charges and assume the highest charge slab for each of them, you still end up with a less than 0.35% expense ratio kind of a number. So this makes NPS one of the lowest cost investment products that is available for retirement. Let's now look at some of the statistics of the pension fund industry, NPS. So currently the AUM managed by the pension fund industry is about 17.25 lakh crores as of June, which is about 20% of where the mutual fund industry is at currently. But last 5 years, it has grown at about 23%, whereas the corporate AUM, basically the AUM coming from corporate employees, has grown at about 25%. If we look at the subscriber base, it's currently at about 2.3 crore subscribers. This has grown at about 9% over the last 5 years. but the corporate subscriber base is growing much faster at about 20%. So with NPS being one of the few tax saving options left in the new tax regime, the corporate subscribers are seeing this product as a very attractive space to enter. If we look at the PFM market share, as Abhishek said, SBI, LIC, and UTI have the access to government direct access to government employees, and also they were the initial ones who started in 2004. So they have the most market share at about 34, 26, and 24% respectively. But if you see the recent growth rates, the growth has been more from the private pension fund players who have started in the recent years. Let's now look at the returns. So Scheme CG and Scheme SG are where the central government and state government employees can invest. So for them, the for their investments, the equity portion is restricted to only 25%. That's why the returns will look slightly lower. So they have yielded about around more than 9% for state government and central government. UPS is the new introduction that Abhishek already talked about. And since the last 1.5 years, the market performance has not been so good. The returns have been on the lower end. If you look at the Tier 1 ECG returns, so equity Tier 1 has, these are the returns since launch for each of the respective schemes as on July 2026. If we see the Tier 1 equity scheme returns, so the median return has been about 12.25% across all the pension fund managers. For the corporate Tier 1 scheme, corporate bond Tier 1 scheme accounts, the median return has been at about 8.7%. And for government bonds, it has been at about 8.1%. Tier 2 schemes have been slightly lower because money can come in and go out at any time, but they are in the similar path as the Tier 1 scheme returns. Now let's compare some of the long-term savings products that are available and the products which people typically use for retirement. One is NPS, then we have the Employee Provident Fund and the Public Provident Fund. So both NPS and PPF are open to all Indian citizens between the age of 18. NPS is restricted to 18 to 85. PPF can be opened by any individual, whereas EPF is only available to salaried employees. If we look at the returns, this is where NPS stands out more. EPF gives a fixed return, which is announced by the EPFO, and currently it's at about 8.25%. And PPF also gives a fixed returns, which is currently at about 7.1%. But NPS gives market-linked returns. And if we assume 50% equity investment, 50% corporate bond, and government securities, and take the median returns, this comes to at about 10.5%. So in this way, NPS outperforms both EPF and PPF, but of course it comes with the market-linked volatility. Coming to employer contribution, both NPS and EPF have employer contribution, 14% and 12% respectively. PPF is fully self-funded. NPS has tax benefits on contribution that Abhishek already talked about. EPF, only the employer portion has tax benefit. Employees' contributions have tax benefits only in the old regime and nothing in the new regime. Tax on withdrawal, NPS, 60% of the funds is tax-free, whereas EPF and PPF are largely fully tax-exempt. Liquidity, all three have some or the other forms of partial withdrawals. Coming to investment choice, so based on the subscriber's risk profile, he can choose his asset allocation in NPS, which is not there in EPF and PPF. Also, recently, EPFO has clarified that EPF contributions can be limited to 1,800 per month. So basically, the 12% of the statutory wage ceiling of 15,000. So this frees up a lot of space for people to divert their money from EPF to NPS if their risk profiles allows them to choose so. This is especially benefit for the high earners whose limit of 7.5 lakhs is mostly enjoyed by EPF currently. So they can reduce their EPF to 1,800 and put the incremental money in NPS if they desire to do so. So now we'll look at two illustrations to highlight the benefits of NPS. So we have taken an employee age, say 35 years, earning 30 lakhs a year. Basic salary would be about 50% under the new wage code. It is at 15%, 15 lakhs. So the tax slab comes to 30% tax slab. So we'll first see how contributing to NPS allows that employee to save in terms of taxes, both under old regime and new regime. In old regime, that employee has an option to self-fund also to up to 50,000, and also has a corporate NPS up to 10% of his basic, which comes to about 1,50,000. So total 2 lakhs he can put in the NPS scheme. We are assuming the other ATC limits are used up somewhere else. So the overall tax saved in this case comes to about 62,400 in case of old regime for contributing to NPS and not contributing to NPS. Same in the case of new regime. Of course, there's no tax benefit for self NPS, but the corporate NPS you can do up to 14% of the basic, which comes to 2,10,000. So overall here also the tax savings comes to about 65,520 rupees. So basically, NPS gives you a lot of tax savings if you decide to contribute, especially for those in the higher tax income brackets. Now we'll take the same employee, and if suppose he or she wants to plan for retirement, we'll compare how corporate NPS and mutual funds play out for retirement planning. So the 14% of basic comes to about 17,500 rupees per month that can be contributed to NPS. Suppose the employee wants to contribute this till the age of 60 through corporate NPS or through mutual funds. If done by a corporate NPS, that 17,500 rupees fully gets contributed to the NPS account. Whereas if you're doing by the mutual funds, first you have to pay 30% tax on the earnings, and then you contribute the remaining left out amount, so which comes to about 12,000 rupees. So because of the high initial contributions that are there in the NPS, your overall corpus at the age of 60 changes dramatically. So we are assuming returns are 12% for both, and contribution increases by 7% per year. So here the overall corpus at the age of 60 comes to 5 crores, whereas in mutual fund SIPs it comes to about 3.5 crores. Again, tax on the corpus for NPS it's 0% for 60% of the money, slab rate for the remaining 20%, and slab rate on the last 20% when the annuity income comes, not for convertee. And for mutual fund SIPs, it's 12.5% plus cess or slab rate, depending on the equity or debt allocation that they have. Again, these are taxed only on the gains and as and when the units are redeemed. So we have considered all these cases. Yeah. So at the age of 60, the monthly income that is earned also, and we are assuming that the remaining corpus will continue to earn about 9% in both the cases. There's an SWP done at 6% of the corpus, and the annuity plan chosen for NPS is paying at about 6.5%. So overall, the corporate NPS route, by saving via the corporate NPS route, the employee could earn a monthly income on a pre-tax basis of about 2.63 lakhs per month. The divisions between the 60, 20, 20 are given here. Whereas via the SIP route, because the corpus is lower, because the initial investment is being taxed, the total monthly income comes to about 1.78 lakh rupees per month. So both are on the pre-tax basis to make them comparable. Yeah. So basically, this employee, for the same cost, the 17,500 that he wants to invest, for the same return, NPS is delivering a 48% higher return. Mainly because the money goes in pre-tax basis and compounds tax-free. One of the common criticism that we get when looking at a government-sponsored product or a government-initiated product is that the ease of operations is very difficult. For NPS, it's not the case. It's a completely online process where people can access the NPS account via the CRA account. So in this case, this is a screenshot from Protean CRA. So everybody will get their Protean CRA login details, and then they can see what their scheme preferences are. They can see their account summary, how much balance is there in their schemes, etc. Yeah, they can also change their fund manager, fund allocation in the over here only. So if they want to change the scheme asset allocation between common schemes and MSF schemes, they can do that here. In MSF, they can select multiple MSF schemes if they so desire. And for the common scheme allocation, they can choose between active choice and the auto choice that is there. And for the active choice for each of the asset classes, so for E, C, and G, they can select a different fund manager. So everything can be done online. In this way, NPS is a very friendly process and everything is done online. There's no need for any physical paperwork. So this shows a summary of what the asset allocation looks like, etc. for the incremental contributions. Yeah, and now addressing some of the common criticisms that are there on the NPS product. So first one is on the lock-in till retirement. While for corporate employees, the lock-in is there till retirement, one has to realize that only a small portion of their savings is getting locked in till retirement, and which might actually be needed at that stage. So only 14% of basic plus DA, and as per new wage code, this should be about 50% of the total salary. So only about 7% of the total salary gets logged in the NPS for retirement. And all this is some pre-tax income. So that gives you a very good benefit. Also, you can convert in case a person wants an early retirement, then they can convert into that all citizen model and then exit after a total of 15 years in the NPS system. The other common criticism is the forced annuity that is there. PFRDA has already reduced the forced annuity component from 40% to 20% currently. And another thing to remember is that annuity income will act as a hedge against longevity risk. So while your regular savings might run out if you live for a very longer than expected time frame, but the annuity service provider is supposed to pay out that annuity income every month as long as the subscriber is alive. Another common concern is on the regulator uncertainty. Given that it's a long product, what could be the regulations in 30 years? Again, valid concerns, but so far the regulatory changes have been towards improvement of the product. Things like MSF with 100% equity, or the reduction in annuity, or the retirement income scheme that I talked about earlier, or the multiple PFMs now you can select. All these have been towards improvement of the product. Yeah, so basically the key takeaways. So 3 things to take away. So NPS is one of the low cost and flexible option that is there for an employer to invest and to build a retirement corpus. And it is one of the few tax efficient, tax saving products that is available under the new tax regime. Also, this is even more beneficial for those in the higher income tax bracket. And all the rebalancings that you do within the product are completely tax free. And also there's a tax benefit on exit for about 60% of the corpus. And also this is one of the few long-term retirement saving products that can compound at a market-linked return, which is not available from the other products that we currently have. Yeah, we are happy to take any questions.
Hi. So what is this role played by POPs? They seem to be charging higher cost than the fund managers.
Yeah, so the role POP plays is they bring the reach of customers. So basically, as Abhishek highlighted in the initial slides, the penetration of NPS products or the retirement products in India is quite low. So currently, PFRDA wants to increase the accessibility of NPS products. So they are being allowed a higher fee at 20 basis points. Yeah.
Yes. Hello. Very good presentation. Can you go back 2 slides back? And I want to understand the difference that you have shown between NPS and SIB.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you re-explain this?
Yeah. Suppose we take an employee.
So what is the period? 30 years, is it?
Yeah, from 35 to 60, 25 years.
25 years,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's a 25-year period. Suppose we are assuming that in the initial year, they'll invest 17,500 in the NPS. This comes to the 14% of their basic plus DA. Because NPS is done on a pre-tax basis, this entire amount gets invested in NPS. Whereas if they want to do that amount in SIP, first they have to pay the tax on the amount. Because at 30%, it comes to about 12,000. So the major difference is coming from here. So and that compounds over time. And
so
also
that is the difference.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay.
Yeah, there are other differences in terms of taxation here also, but the major difference is coming from here.
Yeah, so you are calculating basically this is, you are paying this 17,000 after tax, it effectively becomes 12,000.
12,000, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great presentation. So can this be used by senior citizens? If somebody is beyond 60,
Yeah.
can you design a scheme which benefits? Because, if the guy is going to live till 85 potentially, can you design this scheme for them?
Yeah. So basically, now the PFRDA has increased the eligibility norms from earlier it was 70 years for entry. Now it is 85 years. So anybody from 60 to 85 can also enter the NPS system. And you can take you can defer the exit till 85 years. So somebody can enter at 60, they can stay in the system till 85, and at 85 they will be forced to exit out. Or between 60 to 85 also, they can choose to exit at any time that they want. Yeah. And the asset allocation they can do based on their requirement. They can choose an active choice and just do government bonds or corporate bonds if they want more safe asset allocation. It's up to the subscriber, but it's allowed. They can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And one benefit is in case of the unfortunate death of the subscriber, the nominee gets 100% of the corpus as a tax-free basis.
yeah.
So that's another advantage that is there. Yeah.
And second is, can you design this scheme to, if let's say there's a senior citizen and the contribution is made by their son or daughter, can that be done?
In the sense,
Or you can route it through their account only?
yeah, it has to be routed through their account, in my opinion. Yeah.
And what about children? If you want to set up a fund for your children,
Yeah.
basically instead of gifting them or they inheriting, you design a system where you start contributing for them. So can it be done?
Yeah. So for NPS
Even if they are
Vatsalya,
adults?
not when they are adults. Under NPS Vatsalya only, anybody can contribute to a NPS Vatsalya account holder. So a grandparent can contribute to a child's account, or some relative can give money into the child's account. All those things are allowed under.
But if they are, let's say, beyond 21 years of age, again, you have to route through their account, or you can directly contribute.
So there is flexibility to withdraw the money between the age of 18 to 21, and after that it becomes a regular NPS account. So that benefit of NPS Vatsalya is up till age of 21.
No, so I'm not talking of NPS Vatsalya. I'm asking if you want to design as an alternative to give inheritance money to your children. Suppose they are above 25 years of age.
Yeah.
They have their own they have their own earnings, etc. Can you directly contribute, set up a NPS account for them and contribute?
I don't think we are allowed. Only the self-contribution has to come from self, not from others. But I'll check on that and confirm. But again, there are no significant tax benefits for this because they won't get the entry level. At the time of contribution, there are no tax benefits for retail model or the all-citizen model. So you'll get, if you are in the old regime, the contributor gets about 1,50,000.
So to my knowledge, only two entities can invest. Either the corporate can invest or the employer, not corporate. Employer can be sole proprietorship, LLP, partnership firm, company, trust, whatever. The employer can contribute on behalf of the employee, or the employee self-funds. If you want to fund for a relative, you can give the money and route it through their account, but directly transferring on third party behalf will involve that PMLA and all those kind of implications. Typically, they will accept for minor children, they will accept contribution from the employer for employee or self. I think only these three broad categories are there. Fourth category, at least I am not aware of.
Even I am not aware. These are the three categories that are allowed.
You can route through the
gift and
Hi, great presentation. Just wanted to check in case of NPS Vatsalya at the time of redemption when the child is turns 18 or 21, what are the tax implications?
Yeah. So for all NPS products, currently the tax laws say that 60% of the lump sum withdrawal is tax free, and from the remaining you'll have to pay buy an annuity, and the annuity itself will be the purchase of annuity will be tax free, but the income generated out of annuity will be taxed at slab rates. That applies for Vatsalya also.
Hi, on the tax part, so 60% is free, tax free, and the 40%, let's say if there is 100 rupees, 60 rupees is tax free. So on this 40 rupees, there will be first a tax applied at slab rate and then it will be invested.
So if suppose the subscriber chooses to exit the NPS system, 60% is tax-free. Of the 40%, 20% has to be mandatorily used for annuity. So that 20% is not taxed.
Okay, it is invested.
Yeah,
without tax.
at the time of investment, it's not taxed. Only the future income, the annuity income that
Okay.
comes in the future, that's as per the tax slab.
Okay.
For the the 20% in between, that is taxed at slab rate.
So even that 20%, let's say at the end of retirement, the equity is 35%.
So
Still-
it is irrespective of how your asset allocation is.
Okay,
It's seen as one lump sum.
One
So you
lump
need to forget the long-term capital gains tax that are applicable
For
for
the 20%.
mutual funds and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can defer these taxes by using one of the systematic withdrawal. So instead of taking a large lump sum in 1 year, you could spread it over 10 years if that might be a better tax alternative for the person.
So you talked about the tax differing using the SUR or SLW.
Yeah.
So it's possible that how is that taxed? Is it capital gains or will it be?
No, nothing is capital gains. There's no concept of capital gains in this part. If it is the 60% of the money corpus, then it would be tax free. If it is the remaining 20% of the corpus, it would be slab rate tax. If it is the annuity portion, again slab rate tax.
My doubt is if you have 60%, you took it out at age 60, and then 40% you continue in NPS and do SUL, SL, whatever, SUR or SLW. How is that taxed?
Slab rate.
Slab rate. Okay.
Yeah. So tax free is applicable only for the 60%. The remaining will be slab rate. Yeah. Online, any questions?
Can you talk about the difference between tier 10 and tier 1 in terms of taxation?
Hello. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
I was just asking if you could comment on the differences between tier 1 and tier 2 accounts with respect to taxation at the time of contributions and withdrawals.
Yeah. So all the tax benefits we talked about are for tier 1 accounts only. Tier 2 accounts at the time of contribution have no tax benefit. In case, Abhishek.
Yeah, so all the tax benefits or the restrictions on withdrawals are on tier 1. Tier 2 is basically your flexible savings account. You don't get any tax benefits on that. In case of withdrawals also, there is a flexibility, you can withdraw anytime. So if you are contributing to tier 2, there is no tax benefit as such. However, when you withdraw, there is no 60% tax-free lump sum that you can do. So it's completely taxable. Thank you.
This initiative is undertaken solely with the objective of educating people at large about financial concepts, sectoral knowledge, and related matters. It is intended only for general awareness and learning purposes and should not be construed as advice, recommendation, or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold any securities or financial instruments. The information and views expressed are based on current understanding and are subject to change over time with evolving market conditions, regulatory developments, and other factors. The presenter or the company they are associated with may have existing exposure or professional knowledge relating to the sectors, themes, or concepts discussed. This does not, however, constitute a recommendation or endorsement. Participants and readers are strongly encouraged to exercise their own judgment and seek professional guidance before making any financial or related decisions. This initiative should be viewed purely from an educational perspective and nothing else.